Welcome back to the studio, guys. Today I'm going to show you how I turn a lump of clay into this. But stick to the end so you guys can decide which color glaze this pot will be. So let's get started, guys. The first thing to do is to center this clay. And I've realized with my videos that I haven't been explaining how to do any of this stuff. So I'm going to try to explain in the best way that I possibly can. So the clay is adhered to the bat. The bat is a false bottom, which is held on by these two bat pins onto the wheel head. That way it enables me to be able to pick up the pot once it's done. I can cut under and pick up a pot, but I don't like deforming the pots. So let's get going with centering. So right here I'm just adding water to my hands, and I am it's kind of like wrestling a tornado. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm compressing in and sometimes up. So this time this would be up, so I'm pushing in with my left and I'm pulling with my right, and that cones up the clay. And then once it gets up a little bit, I literally just compress it down using my this bone here, which I don't know what the bone is, even though I've broken that bone in my life. The metacarpal, maybe. So yeah, here we are at a good spot. So this is going to be a flower vase. I have not yet decided which style flower vase yet, but this is the spot where you figure out if you want it to be wide or tall. So right now I'm going down all the way, not all the way to the bottom, but a little less than half an inch down, and I am creating a base. And the most important part here is to homogenize that base and compress it. That way it can help with, in the drying process, to not have any cracking, which you do not want to have a crack on your vase, and let the water out. So right here I'm going to collar in the walls, which is just bringing it in. And now I'm going to go for my first pull. So what I'm doing here is I'm pushing out with my left hand and in with my right hand. In every rotation I'm lifting up slightly, and it just brings up the clay. And once I get to the top here, I compress that rim. No matter how big the rim is, it just smooths it out. So there is like a 3-pull rule for production potters. It's not a rule, but just something a lot of people live by. With vases, it's however many it takes to be correct. Vases need to be thin, in my opinion, because of, I don't know, I just like them to not be heavy. So this is my second pull with this, and I've obviously chose to do a wider or taller vase than wide in this, rather. So let's go for the third pull. So like I said before, I'm pushing out and in and leaving a space in between my hands, and every rotation I'm lifting up. So let's do that. Pushing out, and you want the wheel to not be extremely fast, but fast enough. And at some point in this vase, flowers like to be contained, so it's just not all out like that, because your arrangement would just fall out and be wide open. So what I like to do is just set up for it to be thin at the top in width, and I kind of just do like a 3 or 4 finger width. So right here I'm just scraping away a little bit at the bottom with my thumb, and this clay can be used for future pots, always be reclaimed. So here's where I will be using my rib. So again, same method. I'm pushing out and I'm pushing into this rib. And this is kind of where the magic happens. This is like the fun part of watching pottery come to life. Now this whole time I've been kind of focused on how the line of the pot is looking. So what I mean by the line of the pot is how the curve is even and nice and fluid. I always say in my live streams that it's the fluidity of the line, which is kind of the only way I figured out how to describe it. So here we go again with the second pull of the rib. I'm making sure that I get all the clay from the bottom so it's not heavy on the bottom. I truly believe there's too much trimming going on, and the better you throw the pot, the less trimming you should have to do. That's just my personal opinion. Everybody has their own different opinion when it comes to making pots. So you see how this line here is, guys? It's fluid, but I would like to just fix that one more time because there's a little spot right in here that I'm not too happy with. So here we go. There we go. Yes. It's working. It's working. Okay, so now that we got to that point, what I like to do for this style is just wet the top here a bit with my sponge. And now I'm going to use just my finger to push in, and I'm also pulling out at the same time. I like to smooth it out. Now, this is just a little 45 degree angle tool. Now I'm just cutting under to alleviate some of the trimming process, but it also leaves just a little bit of a lip here for the glaze to seat on. It kind of like stops the glaze from going down. Just the way I like to do my vases. And I'm always a little bit picky about keeping the bat clean. Because a clean studio is a happy studio, in my opinion. Okay, so right here I am just cleaning up everything with the sponge, making sure it's nice and smooth. And this is where I check everything on the outside. And it has a nice smooth here. There's a slight little bump of harder clay in there, but that's okay because those are the kind of things that make the vases really cool and look obviously handmade. And who knows what will happen in the glazing process. It might make that little bump stand out, which might make it look even better. Sometimes, guys, it's like the things that irritate your eyes are the things that come out to be your favorite things once they're fired. Especially if you're throwing one-of-a-kind items like I am today. So I'm going to get all of the water out of this vase from the bottom, because if you leave the water in, it'll deteriorate the bottom and just turn to mush, and that won't be good. There you have it, guys. So now it's going to be the time to have you guys help me make the decision of what color I should fire this glaze at, or this pot at. So let's do that. All right, so in the future here, I am going to be doing a glaze firing. So I'm going to have you guys choose the glaze for this pot that I just made. So keep in mind, here's the shape. Now here is the Sato wood ash. Now the lighting isn't all that great on this, but that's a little more it. So it's more golden drip wood ash glaze. And you see how it has like these drips on the side? Or would you like to see it in this glaze? And this is a Tamba glaze, though this comes out differently wherever it's sitting in the kiln. Because we are using a reduction kiln and fire is hitting it, everything reacts differently. So it'll either come out like this or a more black in color. So, and this one has like some brown spots and whatnot. But both are really my favorite glazes that we use down at my father's shop. And yeah, I don't know, guys. Which one do you think? Let me know in the comments which glaze you would like to see this pot in. Thank you guys as always for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. And happy throwing, everybody. Be well.